Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. For this video, we had planned to take our time doing the lift kit install. I was planning on using my dad's shop because he does have a scissor lift, so it would make things a lot easier to do this install. I was going to take my time and show you all the parts and all the details as we went along, but my dad had other plans. I pulled into his shop Friday night about an hour before the shop closed, and I started pulling mine on the lift that they held aside for me. Before I knew it, I had four ASE certified mechanics wrenching on the Jeep. So I was planning on doing it. My buddy Will was going to help me Friday night, and Kim, and we were going to come back on Sunday morning to finish whatever Will and I and Kim didn't finish on Friday with my buddy Corey. But like I said, my dad jumped in, had his mechanics start helping, start pulling things apart, and faster than I could even figure out, these guys had both the front and rear suspensions pulled apart and started bolting up parts, and it was crazy. I probably wouldn't have gotten it all done in the weekend. There was quite a few steps and, trying to, figure out the parts and what goes where. This just went so much faster for me. So I got it all done in Friday night. It almost got all done. Saturday morning, we ended up bleeding the brakes because you do need some brake extensions, which I guess I should tell you what lift kit we decided to go with. This kit is the Evo Manufacturing 4.5-inch Stage 3 Plus kit. And we did do the Enforcer Overland kit, which is supposed to give you a little better ride for on-road capabilities. So obviously we're not using this thing every day off-road, not even every weekend. Unfortunately, being in Chicago here, we are pretty far away from the closest off-road locations. I mean, pretty much a 3.5-hour minimum to get to someplace decent. So I wanted it to ride good on the road. The way Kim and I like to build our vehicles is we like to make them so that they're good at a lot of things. I don't need to make it the best off-road vehicle ever. I don't need to make it a strictly show car, but I like to have both options. I like to be able to take this to a car or truck show it off. But also I like it to be capable and still usable when we do go off-road, because we like to use them as they're intended. So, you get all those comments that it's nothing but a mall crawler, oh, with that pretty wrap, I guess you're never taking it off-road. Well, guess what? We are. We are heading to Redbird this weekend. We're gonna do our first group of Jeep Badge of Honor trails, which Kim and I have never done any before. So we're looking forward to that, looking forward to seeing something different. I know a lot of people have said Redbird seems to be just a lot of mud, but this thing's gonna get dirty. But before I delay this any further, let me kind of do a walk around. I do have some footage from us kind of wrenching underneath the Jeep, so I'll cut some of that in here. I'll show you some of the things. Oh, I also forgot to mention, we did decide to go with the King Shocks, and it is the Evo Spec King, I think it's a 2.5 suspension shocks. So I'll show you that. They are the dual reservoir shocks, which I think are pretty darn good looking shocks. So that was a big selling point for me, because I think they look cool, but also that I know that they're gonna ride great. So we went with those. I'm gonna show you around that. I'm gonna show you some clips from the footage we did while we were working on it, show you some of that. And then what we ended up doing is this past week, because it's been now a week since we got this lift kit on, I got it over to our friends at Wheel Parts. I talked to Tom and my buddy Steve over there. They were able to align the Gladiator here, get it dialed in, even though I wasn't really having any problems, other than after we were all done I had to adjust the steering, which was super easy. But brought it in, made sure it was aligned properly. They did say the front end was off a little bit, so they straightened out the front end. They got me all dialed in. They balanced these wheels and tires, which they said, surprisingly for 40s, they balanced out real well, so we got that done. And then they let me flex it out on their flex ramp. So I'm gonna show you that at the end. Make sure you stay all the way to the end so you can see it flexing. They were pretty impressed at how well this thing flexed. So let's check it out. All right, so we'll give you a little bit of a glimpse of the stance. You can see it does obviously sit quite a bit higher in the wheel wells now than it was when I was running the 40s with no lift. Definitely plenty of clearance. And one of the first and most obvious things you'll notice are these King dual reservoir shocks. We do have those front and rear. So we got the King reservoir shocks, the new Evo springs, and then you can kind of see some of the brake lines that are extended there. As I come down underneath, you'll notice that it's got the Evo adjustable lower control arms, which are part of the Stage 3 Plus kit. It's got some control arm relocation brackets for the upper control arm there. The Stage 3 kit comes with front lower control arms and rear upper control arms. In the front, you'll notice I've got the adjustable track bar here from Evo. That was part of the kit. Don't mind this. This is another video. Don't pay attention to that. But we've got the, you can see the spring here, the giant springs, and then the sway bar end links. And then coming back to the rears, you do have the King dual reservoir shocks here again. In the rear here, I did set up the light to get some better view. You can see we've got the adjustable rear track bar from Evo, the sway bar extensions here, the Evo brake lines for the extensions, the springs, and then it comes with the Evo bump stops right there, bump stop brackets. On the driver's side in the rear here, there's a new bracket from Evo that lines up the track bar to the proper positioning, so you can see it moves it up further than the original mount location. So another better view of the King shocks with the dual reservoir underneath. And then you can see the adjustable upper control arm on the back here.
Hey guys, as you can see, those are our stock parts on the floor from the Gladiator because we have just started putting our suspension in our new lift kit. So we are super excited about this process. We decided to come over to my in-laws dealership and utilize their shop in order to get this done. Little did we know, my awesome father-in-law was gonna have his mechanics help us out. So we got such a good jump start on this, and it couldn't have happened any faster than it did without the help of all the people that were here today. So as you can see, we've already started the process, getting our King shocks onto the Gladiator. The rear is complete, we just have to bleed the brakes and then slap on our 40s. We're just working on the front a little bit, the front end right now. They're just fine tuning and dialing in some more parts to the suspension kit. As you can see, these brackets are to hold the dual reservoir on the lift kit. The process has gone pretty smooth and we really cannot wait to get our tires on and see how high Neo is with this lift kit. Stay tuned.
Good morning guys, it's an early morning for me. I'm not used to getting up early, but I've got an hour drive to get to 4 Wheel Parts in Naperville. They are going to do the alignment after we've completed the lift kit here, and they're gonna go ahead and balance all 5 of my tires. Discount Tire, their machine wasn't able to fit with the cover, wouldn't fit over the 40-inch tires. So 4 Wheel Parts is gonna take care of that for me, get this thing all lined up so we're ready to go, so we can get headed out to Redbird off-roading this Sunday. I gotta go, I'm running late. So like I said, I'm on my way down to 4 Wheel Parts in Naperville. I've heard nothing but good things about this shop. My buddy Steve works there, and I've seen some of the work he's done on Jeep and Pew's truck and Greg's TJ. So I talked to Tom, the sales guy there, and he said he'd get me hooked up. So I'm bringing it down there. It's a little bit of a drive for me, especially with morning traffic. I've been stopped a few times even on the highway today, but I think it's going to be worth it because these guys are supposed to be the best, and I know Steve does great work. So I'm heading down there. They're gonna do the alignment, balance all 5 tires because I want the spare to be balanced as well. And then what we're gonna do is they've got their RTI flex ramp, and I believe we are gonna get a chance to throw it on the ramp today. So we'll see how much it can actually flex. I honestly can't believe how good this thing drives. I mean, the tires aren't balanced. The alignment hasn't been done. All I did was adjust the steering because after we were all done, the steering wheel was way off and it was actually giving me a service active handling light. I readjust the steering wheel, which was super easy to do. But other than that, this thing goes down the road straight. The 40s aren't very loud. They're not noisy. So I gotta say, overall, I'm pretty impressed. So where's it? Oh, it's rubbing.
You're tucked up in the right rear. You're just barely touching your inner fender liner. That tuck's nice though. That's actually pretty good for 40s.
Yeah, that's where I had about a 1/4 inch with the 40s with no lift. So that's basically the lift kit in a nutshell. It doesn't seem like all that much work to do, but there's a lot of steps and a lot of adding those brackets and things like that to get it dialed in right. And I believe there was 1 hole you had to drill for that rear bracket. Everything else went pretty smooth. It was just a matter of following the instructions and going step by step. Probably the biggest thing we fought with was actually with the King front shocks. There is a bracket that comes to mount that extra reservoir, and I believe this system is designed specifically for the JL Wrangler, so you would assume it's very similar for the JT. Unfortunately, it looks like the shock mount bracket that's welded from the factory is just slightly different than the JL, and so there was a little bit of metal that was hanging down kind of in our way for that bracket. So we ended up having to modify that to get the bracket to sit in there properly and be able to mount that shock reservoir. So we kind of fought with that a little bit, but otherwise the entire system went on pretty smoothly, nice and easy. And then we got it aligned, got it dialed in. As you saw, we took it to 4-wheel parts, got it on that flex ramp. It flexed out real nice. Actually, the only thing that was stopping me from going probably quite a bit higher is this rear inner fender liner. So it was this rear tire, as it flexed, was rubbing on that fender liner. So if I do something to modify these fenders, possibly the chop kit, I'm really liking those Hawk off-road fenders. So maybe if I can get my hands on a set of one of those or do the chop kit or some sort of other fender kit, it will increase my flexibility quite a bit. But for now, I'm pretty happy. This thing rides and drives down the road beautifully. Wheel is straight, no pulling. I still need to decide on which programmer to go with for the tires, to reprogram the tires. I haven't done that yet. I have the Taser on the Mojito Jeep, but I know there's a few other options on the market right now, so I'm considering those. I haven't pulled the trigger. If you've got any suggestions or if you've got a favorite one, drop a comment below. But otherwise, let us know what you think. How's it sitting? You happy with the way it turned out? Let us know. We love hearing from you guys. Stay tuned. We are going off-roading this weekend. We're heading to Redbird, hitting those trails. So that content will be coming soon. If you follow us on the Neon Gladiator JT Instagram, I'm sure you'll see some stuff live as we do it on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following. And as always, give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. I know you already are. But if you're not, subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.